Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room, and you return the favor.
Gonorrhea. No. Somewhere and outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop it now. I order you to stop. I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this guy. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you got to fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with another episode that actually is live from the lair. And today we're going to be covering a subject that most people used to get their pee-pee spanked over beginning in 2021. And it had something to do with the Coof and the Troof. It's in the title. If you recall, 21, 22, part of, I would say, the beginning of 23, we still had mandates for the PokeNSmoke. We had mandates for what businesses could stay open. We had our government telling us which businesses were essential, and hundreds of thousands of small businesses went under. Okay, on top of that, we had governors in blue states mandating that people who were affected with the Coof would be put into retirement homes and rest homes, which caused a domino effect of dead body. We had that taking place. I recall during this time watching several news articles which were quickly taken out of the cycle, where we had embalmers pulling blockages, clots, whatever you want to call it, out of corpses. Some of these things were 2 and 3 feet long, and they didn't look like blood clots. They actually looked like some type of tissue. Nobody's talking about that. We have the ignored vax injuries. Of course, we can't really sue these companies because they were given blanket immunity to turn the entire Western world into a flock of walking guinea pigs. All right. Now, and on top of that, we still have big tech running top cover, censoring all of this shit to a certain extent, even to this day. But we're going to talk about it here because it is very important. And I would really love to see those responsible for turning everyone into a walking guinea pig to get royally slam screwed in the, let's just say it. I want to see them butt fucked in the dick hole. All right. We're at a situation now where we need something worse than the F word. All right. This is insane. I can't wrap my head around the insanity that took place, other than the fact that we have a whole bunch of people out there who are weak in mind and body, unwilling to make decisions or take a stand, going with the flow, don't want to make waves, and literally millions of people were tricked, coerced, or forced into taking this PokeNSmoke. And we're going to see negative outcomes about this for decades to come, in my opinion. All right, we don't have Blake here. We got the Battle Dwarf and the evil Shaggy on station.
Pushing buttons as always.
Let's jump into this. This is absolutely insane.
Well, first of all, I have only one thing that I really want to have the opportunity to say to these pharmaceuticals and the people who are running cover for them. I just have one thing that I want to say to them. Face the wall, please.
Let's not have any of that. After they've been convicted
after due process and a proper conviction and trial, etc.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Face the wall, please.
We're not doing mob justice here. I don't want to see that. Just saying.
Maybe not mob justice, but I'm okay with mass justice right now.
Very well.
So I lost a friend, a very good friend of mine, this past February to this thing. And that brought it very close to home. And Pop and I know somebody down in Indiana who also lost her father to this thing.
Yes.
So I don't know anybody whose life hasn't been touched by this train wreck that they told us was coming by making movies like Outbreak and Children of Men. If you don't think they weren't telling you what they were doing, I want you to do something right now. I can't show it because they'll strike the channel, but go look on YouTube for the last 4 minutes of the movie Children of Men and look at the messaging. A virus has made all women on the planet sterile, but at the end of the movie, only one woman is able to have babies, and she's an African immigrant who is helped by the dying white man who is bleeding out as she brings the first new life into the world. It is such blatant messaging.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Such blatant messaging.
But the thing is, I watched this whole thing unfold.
Yep.
And I remember, going to certain stores here in Michigan, and they were closed, and there was a sign on the door that said deemed non-essential.
Yes.
All right. While McDonald's was open.
Yes.
And
Walmart was open.
And Home Depot was open, but there were whole aisles that were taped off that you weren't allowed to
You
do.
could not buy gardening implements in the state of Michigan.
Or paint.
Yeah, Wretched Gretchen said that you cannot paint your house or plant flowers in the state of Michigan during this. That is her practical advice for the COVID outbreak, what we refer to here as the lockdown.
Yep.
It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. No point in history ever. And I've looked, and I'm that history fucking weirdo.
The only thing in modern United States history that comes close was during the flu epidemic in World War I.
Oh, the Spanish flu outbreak?
Yeah.
Guess what?
I know.
Guess what History Boy did? History Boy went back and read that.
Mm-hmm.
You know where most of the disease was coming from?
From the masks.
The masks.
Yep. I know, but the
because
mentality,
they were just wearing the mask and not washing them, and
and it's just
getting,
But the thing is that mentality was replicated current year,
correct,
from back then.
Correct. That is 110% correct. And if you know anybody out there who wears a mask, don't bother telling them anything anymore. Just don't bother.
Yeah, they're idiots.
They're idiots. There's nothing you can do about it.
Now, I will say this, is I actually was talking to several individuals who worked ambulance companies in New York City proper, in and around the burbs.
Sure.
And that happy hypoxic thing,
mm-hmm.
that was really happening.
A lot.
Yeah. And he literally would go to work, clock in at like 7 in the morning, and he was doing a patient every 30 minutes until he clocked out at 10 o'clock. And he was picking up these people, taking them to the hospital. So there was something going on. All right. I'm not saying that, there was no virus or anything like that. Something was happening.
Okay. Here's my theory on what was happening based on what you just said.
Okay.
An entire population was ordered to use medical paraphernalia that they had never been taught how to use nor properly keep clean in any way, and not given any left or right boundaries. I ran into people wearing literally, I'm in Meijer walking through the aisle, and this woman goes walking by me wearing a plastic water bottle with the bottom cut off.
Yeah, I've seen that.
With a mask under that. And like a filter on the top of the water bottle. So you had every level of idiocy available. And it was, by the time summer kicked in, they're still wearing these masks. And one of the biggest things we learn when we do NBC, and Pop's been through this as well.
I hate NBC.
When we go through NBC, the wearing our gas mask and all of that stuff, you wear it for as short a time as possible, for one. Two, you got to change that stuff out and you got to clean it, or it's going to get respiratory issues that you're going to breathe in, and you're going to get all kinds of respiratory issues from that. And that's what was happening.
Well,
that's a lot of it was people were wearing these masks, and then I'd watch them take them off their face and put them in their butt pocket.
Correct. But this happened really early in the whole thing. So I don't know. I'm not really going to get on board in the beginning with the mask thing. What I'm going to say is this. Once the virus was out in the wild, you can't do anything about it.
There's nothing you can do.
That 2 weeks to flatten the curve that turned into 2 fucking years was a huge power grab. And we need to take steps to make sure that never fucking happens again.
One of the best things you can do is just ignore them.
Yeah. Now listen, if this virus had a 50% kill rate, okay. Now we're in a position where you might have to do some draconian shit to stop the spread.
It was 0.000013.
It was literally 0.2% higher than the flu.
Correct.
Which completely disappeared for 2 years.
Mysteriously.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Completely and utterly and mysteriously disappeared. When like I mentioned, Michigan had bad lockdowns. When I would go out, I would either not wear a mask, walk into the grocery store, and the manager would inevitably walk up to me, "Sir, you have it." I would give him the death stare. I would break out my best NCO, "I'm going to eat your fucking head now" look, and they would usually just turn around and.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, how many businesses got shut down? We had that one barber in the state who the governor went after with both.
They raided
barrels.
him, and it ended up being a protest at Lansing.
Yeah, I was there. Me and Blake went there for that.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of interviews.
Yeah. The best one is I should have brought it tonight. I should have brought my souvenir.
Hmm.
Because I had to go into a hospital here and there or a pharmacy to pick up some prescriptions, and at one point to drop off a registration for my pistol. I made a mask from cheesecloth and butcher's twine. And it looked like somebody had made a mask from cheesecloth and butcher's twine, and that was the point. And I wore that into a hospital 2 or 3 times and a sheriff's office once. Nobody ever questioned me. A nurse took my temperature while I'm wearing a cheesecloth mask and said nothing.
I mean,
that's how psychologically gaslighted
the
community had become.
Well, then you have to remember if you walked into a bank without a mask on, they called the cops on you. Pre-Coof, if you walked in with a mask on your face in a bank, they called the cops.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never had anybody call the cops on me.
Yeah, I never ran into that when I was, but I bank at a credit union. So.
That's fair. The worst challenge I got was at the eyeglass factory when I took my daughter to get new glasses.
And
the manager was just adamant she was not going to let me in, and she was and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll wait outside. But it was just ridiculous. It was like this eyeglass factory. My daughter's getting ready. Go away. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only backlash that I got was I walked into Walmart one day, and I walked in through the exit door. Granted, I just parked, and like 8 other people walked in the exact same door I walked in. The greeter turned around and says, "You need to go outside. Come in the right door." I'm like, I'm already in the same store. I have not shopped at Walmart ever since after that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's crazy. I did have a deli employee in Meijer come running out from behind the counter and yell at me because I didn't have a mask on. And he made a point of getting right in my face to yell at me about not having a mask on. And I just started laughing at him. And basically cried and stormed off.
Well, that's pretty much what the left does. They do a lot of crying, whining. They'll cancel you in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. But what we're trying to do here for this show is there's a lot of stuff that's come out in the media that you're never hearing about. Yep. In fact, we found a website. It's at vaccinedeaths.com.
We'll bring that up shortly.
We'll bring it up at the end, but
we'll bring that up shortly.
You got to keep this in your memory bank. We're going to put it out in the chat so later on you can review a lot of the stuff on your own and realize we are not full of shizata. This is crazy. Let's hit the first one. So,
COVID-19 cases in 2-week change by state. Here's the thing. This article is December 2021. Right when they started rolling out all the vaccines. This is the peak of the stupid right here. And this is all the COVID infection rates per 100,000 in states and everything. And if fully vaccinated is 61.6%. And this article somehow managed to tell the truth. These are all the people that have been vaccinated. Vaccinated people with boosters are still getting COVID.
Yep.
This is data they were putting out in 2021 that they don't want you to see now. Every once in a while, some local media station would actually get the data right and tell the truth.
Yes.
And it would quickly get brushed under the rug.
Correct. And listen, we need to take steps. If the mainstream media is not going to cover this stuff, we need to cover it. And all of the small producers out there need to cover it as well. And just go around mainstream media because all they're doing is lying to you, feeding you propaganda, telling you what you want to hear so they can steamroll you down the road and gaslight you into stupidity.
Yeah,
all right.
That's correct. So this next item that I put up here on the screen is the actual order from SecNAV, the Secretary of the Navy. And the Navy likes to use a lot of big acronyms. Just ignore all of that. The meat of this here is this order issued in August of 2021 is that every member of the Navy must get vaccinated. And I'm looking for 3C here. This NAV admin constitutes a lawful order. Refusal to be fully vaccinated, absent an approved exemption, will constitute failure to obey a lawful order and is punishable under UCMJ, may result in administrative action. The military did this across the board,
Yep.
Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. and destroyed the careers of thousands of good soldiers. But the purpose of it was to do that. The purpose of it was to remove the unthinking, get rid of the last of the good NCOs, get rid of any competent officers at the lower levels. All of the officers above the rank of lieutenant colonel you must be vetted into that. And by vetted into that, I mean you must be a kid diddler or have some other weird problem.
And now they said exemptions, right?
Yes.
Absent an approved exemption. Now, I just want to put this out there. I'm talking to all of the chaplains and all of the branches of the United States Armed Forces. If you're a chaplain, all right, turn in your cross, turn in your crescent, turn in your Jewish star or your Buddha head or whatever it is that you claim to be, working for the man upstairs, because you sold the entire military down the river.
Every one of you.
All right.
Yep.
You don't deserve your position.
Yeah.
And if I was running the show, I would run you the fuck out of the service. You are a disgrace.
I would court-martial all of them.
I'm just saying this. You're a disgrace to the uniform, the service, before God, and dare I say, as a human being. Because there's a lot of people out there who had their careers ruined, thrown out. Or what about the people who were forced into taking the jab who are now permanently screwed for the rest of their lives?
Yes.
And all you had to do was say, let's give them an exemption. And you couldn't even do that. You do not deserve the title chaplain. You sell out pieces of shit. All right.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. Like I said, I'd court-martial all of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them. If I was the SecDef in a position where I could do that.
And and listen, we've been missing the recruiting by massive numbers because of this.
Our military is torched.
Yes, they're gonna. And I put out a show 2 or 3 weeks ago. The draft is coming. They're gonna have to start drafting people because nobody's volunteering to be a guinea pig.
I think the draft is going to fail.
Oh, I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying they are going to try it, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems.
I agree with that. I agree they're going to try it.
Yeah.
I agree they're going to try it.
And I've been calling this for like 5 years now.
You have. I know that to be a fact. We've been watching the military fall apart. My last guy, I've mentioned this before, got out in 2017. He said even in 2017 he was going to hell in a handbag.
Yeah. They've medically retired me in 18.
Yeah.
And I was all butthurt about it in the beginning. But once I saw this craziness, I'm like, I'm glad I'm out.
Yeah, maybe I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's craziness. That's my guy actually had a captain blatantly tell him to his face that he was a socialist, and it was determined to see a socialist United States of America as a sworn officer. In the United States
we need to get rid of those guys.
Army.
Listen, I did a whole article on LinkedIn. You can find it if you get on LinkedIn and search for my name. It's basically 12 or 13 reasons why we can't make our recruiting goals. I've sent that to all kinds of individuals at the time who were still at the top, totally ignored me. And that's fine. I'm just an angry grunt. But I've been around the block a few times. I know how to lead men from the front and by example. And I know how the mentality of fighting men work.
Yes, absolutely true. Absolutely true. So we were in 2021 there with the Navy's memo. Now we're in 2024, which is where we find ourselves today. Moderna admits COVID mRNA shots cause deadly turbo cancers.
All right. Now, do they explain why it's causing the turbo cancers? Because I can give you an opinion here.
Give me the opinion, then I'll tell you what they're saying.
All right. Now, I've been saying this roughly since 2021, because I did a lot of research on this when it first started the rumblings in 2020 into 19. A lot of the studies were disappeared. All right. Now, when they were doing the testing with the mRNA, which they've been doing for quite some time, they would always see the same pattern in the test animals that they'd use this gobbledygook on. That it would initially, it would work great. But then the effect wears off quickly, and your immune system has 4 or 5 defensive strategies to fighting
Sounds
off.
familiar.
Fighting off, viruses, cancer, other pathogens.
5 fences of protection?
Yeah. When you get the vaccine, one of those fences gets ramped up to bionic levels, and the other 4 go, oh, he's got it, and they come down. And some of those additional fences of defense guard your body against cancer. And if they're dialed down to 1 and you need them operating at a 4 or 5 to remain cancer-free, guess what's going to happen? There you go.
There you go.
That's the Grunt explanation without all the fancy medical terms and what have you.
I would say you probably have some sound medical theory floating around in there.
Yeah, what do you get there?
Because it's a reasonable point of view. Moderna has admitted the COVID mRNA shot that it and other pharmaceutical companies produce can cause deadly turbo cancers. The company was forced to make the admission after billions of DNA fragments were found in vials of the injections. The revelation was made after Dr. Robert Malone, one of the inventors of the technology, recently testified during injuries caused by COVID-19 vaccines hearing. One of the biggest things that the media and big pharma and our own government did this to us as well, was to suppress all of the doctors. There were doctors coming out right away that said, everything you're doing is wrong. All of this, none of this has been tested. If you inject people with this, it's going to have dire consequences. You're going to be killing thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands or even millions. These doctors came out and said all of this stuff. Malone was one of the biggest voices out there, and he's one of the smartest people I've ever read, to be completely honest. There were 2 others from California.
Yeah.
There was a couple of doctors that came out, and they had their lives destroyed.
Well, they had their licenses yanked.
They had their licenses yanked, and they had their lives pretty much destroyed. Malone somehow managed to survive a lot of the criticism. There was the one black female doctor from the Bahamas who was really on it, too.
She was the Ivermectin girl.
She was,
Ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah.
I remember her.
Listen, as soon as this started getting bad in 2020, I already Greenberry Express hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. I had it in my freezer just in case.
I need to get a,
because I'm not screwing around.
I have my basic like combat lifesaver ×3 bag, but I need to get some of that.
Because I remember watching the story about the people on the cruise ship that were in isolation, and they're going through a lot of the stuff that's happening.
They wouldn't let them out of their room on a cruise ship.
So I immediately got on the Greenberry Express. I ordered the medications. I had an oxygen generator already on standby. I mean, I was like, okay, this is going to get turbonuclear. I'm going to be ready. And that's exactly what I did.
It's like the plot of the movie I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Rolled up with the plot of Outbreak.
Yeah.
And the plot of Children of Men. All in one.
And here's the funny part. That oxygen generator I purchased actually saved my mother's life.
Really?
Because she was having stuff at the beginning of the year, shortness of breath, all kinds of problems.
Okay.
I put her on the oxygen generator for a couple hours till it stabilized, and then took her to the emergency room.
I already know about oxygen generators and their value because Charlie Company used to get hammered on like Sunday night and wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go wake up Horn the medic and get an IV bag and turn the oxygen generator on
to recover.
And it cured our hangovers right up. Until our platoon leader looks at you, look like.
Isn't it amazing what we used to get away with when we were young?
Yeah.
Because you would drink like a fish and be sick for a day.
Yeah.
At our age, we drink like a fish and we're sick for a week.
Or in the hospital.
Yeah.
Or in the house, but the platoon leader's walking down the line.
You look like a bunch of goddamn heroin junkies.
Everybody's got IV straps. Yeah, but we know how to give an IV, sir.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, we went off in the weeds.
We did go off in the weeds there. The congressional hearing led by Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't really care for her, but she has some good ideas. Despite being one of the pioneers being mRNA technology, Malone had been speaking out against the use of the shots in public. He argued that the shots are unsafe and should never be used on humans. Yes, they weren't tested.
Well, hang on.
We're going to do a whole show on Big Pharma, by the way.
The boosters, they were tested on 8 mice.
Yeah, well, that's...
We need to work on your definition of tested.
I recognize the sigh of defeat. I've heard that thousands of times.
I have one of my biggest frustrations leaving the military and dealing with civilians.
Yes.
Oh, but we tested that.
No, we didn't. But here's the thing. We've had individuals literally get the shot, get very sick,
Yes.
and then we had a bunch of people dropping dead on camera.
Yes.
Now, listen. All right. If you are in college and below and you're an athlete, yes, from time to time, somebody's going to get their life card pulled and they're going to drop dead on the field.
Not like this.
It's just numbers. This
not like this.
is something else.
Yeah.
We had comedians falling out on stage, people having strokes in front of the camera. Every single day I was turning on.
Soccer players in their peak.
Yeah. Listen, if you're a soccer player playing at a professional level, you are at the top of your physical game.
Those European soccer players.
They sprint all day long.
Yeah, I'm not a football fan, but
Neither am I.
Those European soccer players are like thoroughbred stallions.
Yes.
They really are.
And when
they're in incredible shape.
And when one drops dead, everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
10 of them though.
We had I don't even know how many. Hopefully there's somebody out there keeping count of all the professional athletes who dropped dead because of this. Because it was a lot.
Does anybody out there in the chat know of a dead athlete scoreboard? Somebody out there in the chat. I know one of you autists knows where to find this.
You know what? That would be a good video for us.
We'd get pulled right away.
Dead athlete scoreboard.
YouTube would smoke us. That.
You're probably right.
Absolutely would smoke us if we did that.
Yeah, you're right.
I still want to see those numbers, though.
Yes, so do I.
During the hearing, Malone revealed how new Moderna patients show that its vaccine vials contain billions of DNA fragments and other contaminants linked to birth defects and cancer. At the hearing, Malone spoke about how Moderna acknowledges in its patent that the RNA was preferable to DNA in vaccines because of the risks involved, but that the company's mRNA injection, which was administered to tens of millions of people, is contaminated with the latter. Moderna has a patent on the use of RNA for vaccines, and in that, Moderna specifically acknowledges that RNA is superior to DNA for vaccine purposes because problems including the possibility of insertional mutagenesis, I'm sure that's a very complicated and dangerous thing, that could lead to the activation of oncogenes, which is a cancer gene. I recognize onco from oncology there. Or the Latin. You need Latin. Or the inactivation of tumor suppressor genes. So, look, basically, these big pharma companies knew they were doing this to you.
Yeah.
They knew they were doing this, but that's going to be okay because we're making millions of dollars.
Billions.
Nobody paid for those shots. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the government paid for those shots, which means you paid for those shots.
You paid for those shots. All right, now let me make an announcement. All right, gentlemen, we've been demonetized beyond all rhyme and reason. Any money you send in will help us continue this show. If you like the content we cover, please support us. And we talk about stuff that most people will not cover or even touch. So there you go. Help us out.
There you have it. So let's spin the COVID roulette wheel here. Just tell me when to stop.
And now.
Okay, pick one.
26-year-old.
Okay, so this is a whole slew of articles about COVID, and they're all worth looking at. 26-year-old who died after COVID vaccine, not correctly informed about the shot's risk. Medical practice in the United Kingdom has acknowledged that a 26-year-old man who died 13 days after receiving the AstraZeneca shot died from a brain clot, which was not correctly informed about the risk posed by the vaccine.
Yep.
So clots were one of the biggest killers.
Yeah, one of the main reasons that you are developing clots once you get this medication is it tricks your body into producing a whole bunch of spike proteins. These spike proteins are supposed to cap and block the spread of the virus. But I want you to imagine you take a bunch of nails, weld them together, sharpen them, turn them into spikes, and you throw them out in the road and you drive over it. What's going to happen to your tires? They're going to go flat. They're going to get screwed up. The same thing is happening to the surfaces of your blood cells. Your body detects that, sends out a bunch of chemicals, like, hey, we got a problem here, and It's basically a defense mechanism of your body to form clots around irritated portions to stop it from getting worse. That happens, you get a blood clot, it goes to somewhere vital, and guess what? Your ticket's getting punched and you're going to the lobby. It's just that simple. There you go. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's another Grunt explanation right there.
That's the whole point of what we're doing right here. Medical practice in the United Kingdom has acknowledged that a 26-year-old man who died 13 days after receiving the AstraZeneca jab was not correctly informed about the risks. Jack Hearn, a native of Redditch, England, was vaccinated in May of 2021. He was accompanied by in Dudley. I know exactly where this place is. I could take you to this place. I've been there. He was accompanied by his girlfriend, Alex, who was also vaccinated but was not injured. The vax was very random in who it picked off.
Yeah, and here's my theory is I think a lot of these people who got royally screwed up from the beginning have something going on with their gene expressions to make themselves more vulnerable to the spike protein.
Most people have little flaws running around inside their genes.
I'm no different.
Most people do.
Like, for instance, heart disease runs in my family, and I'm in the zone. I'm in the drop dead zone.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So I think that's what these vaccines target is those flaws, and it latches onto those and turns it into, turbo cancer.
Yeah. And listen,
or a turbo clot in this case.
But nothing screams this wasn't tested properly than the amount of individuals who are getting slam fucked by this vaccine.
Young individuals. Young. If this was 90-year-olds, I'd be like, all right, it shortened their life, but by
2 years.
A week, 2 years.
Yeah.
It'd be bad, and I would still be angry. But
but there's a big difference between a 19-year-old dropping dead and a 91-year-old person dropping dead.
Yes.
One has had, a chance to, win the lotto, banged a bunch of pussy, drank hundreds of gallons of booze, and the other one's just getting started.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't even know what he's going to have for breakfast that morning.
Nope.
According to statements made in May 2022 by Michael Portman Hahn, the attorney representing Hearn's family, both Hearn and Jones voiced concerns about the vaccine and requested an alternative. However, staff at the vaccination center refused, telling them the Pfizer vaccine was not available and assuring them that the AstraZeneca vaccine was safe. BBC reported that Hearn began to develop headaches in June 6, 2021, 8 days after he was jabbed. He was admitted to Alexandria Hospital in Redditch, where a brain scan revealed a blood clot. So
that's bad.
This is not only scary in that it killed him, but with the speed with which it killed him.
Yes. Now, but they're saying in this is the UK, right?
Yeah.
In the UK, he wasn't properly informed. The UK was forcing everyone.
They're NIH acts like Stasi.
Yeah, they were forcing everyone. You could even go to their country without getting the jab.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. It's a hot mess. So on top of that, in the United Kingdom, we've got Washington's COVID scam killed medical freedom and Americans. This is by another doctor, and this is part and parcel of what we just talked about.
What's the date on this one?
Okay. This is February 2022, so This is a year after the events that we just discussed.
Correct.
Medical freedom or autonomy gives people the right to choose with respect to their bodies, physicians the freedom to do what is best for the patient, and bioscientists the freedom to communicate with, everyone. Washington has denied Americans their medical freedom. Remember, this is 2022. Causing economic devastation and needless deaths. Regardless of dire, fear-inducing life or death warnings emanating from Washington, it is simply a new flu, implying that the Coof is an existential threat comparable to the bubonic plague is ludicrous medical hyperbole.
Mm-hmm.
The lockdowns left Michigan, whole areas of Michigan, looking like post-zombie apocalyptic sets.
Yeah, it was insane.
I enjoyed driving around. What I did during those lockdowns, because it destroyed my company. I had a marketing company. Destroyed it because I relied entirely on face-to-face meetings and handshakes.
Yep.
That's how I conducted business. and just killed it instantly. I would stake out the hospitals and watch them, because on the news, bodies everywhere, everyone's dying. Oh my God, it's terrible. Nothing at the hospital.
And they put up tent cities that were unused. They converted. I think they brought some hospital ships into the New York harbor that were never used.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of people out there, who, in my opinion, because I trust the people I spoke to who work there around New York City, that were telling me about this happy hypoxic shit that was happening. But by the time they saw that, the virus is already in the wild. There's nothing you can do. You just have to ride it out.
Saying happy hypoxia. Do you know what that is? There's another word for it.
Well,
hysteria.
I don't know, man. Listen,
That
hysteria
causes hypoxia.
Hang on. You might be correct in some of those regards.
Don't get hysterical on me.
But listen, these guys are trained paramedics.
Okay.
And they're getting blood ox levels that are like 72, 68. That's like on the verge of going unconscious. That is not something that happens on the regular if you're having a issue with your thinking meat.
That did not happen here.
No.
Like I said, I staked out 3 major hospitals, which were all within 5 miles of my house. And I would watch them during the day. And
there's nothing.
No activity at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean normal hospital activity. I mean no ambulances coming or going.
Nope.
No, like, people being dragged out of the back of emergency vehicles and rushed in with IVs and attendants freaking out and everything. Which
you were not the only one.
Like
we had about a dozen guys who watched the show.
Yeah.
Who literally reported to me, I spent 2 days watching my local emergency room, and it was business as usual.
It was less than business as usual here in the Detroit area.
Yeah.
Because I was still living here. I wasn't upstate yet.
Yeah.
I wasn't upstate yet. We hadn't moved.
I will say this. There was activity going on. It was just the nurses and doctors filming their TikTok dances.
That's true. You are correct, Jimmy.
That's fine.
Oh, my God.
Von Baum, we need a video of all of those nurses dancing, but with Hillary and Nancy and
don't
Ruth
do
Bader
that.
Ginsburg heads. And
God damn it.
Damn it, no!
Dancing nurses video, do it.
I'm an evil prick.
God damn it.
I'm absolutely an evil bastard. That's the one thing with MI. If there is an evil fucking prank to be played, we will play it.
We'll play that card.
Yeah, we absolutely will. That
Now-
was like MI's trademark.
Now, one of the reasons we're touching on this 4 years after the fact is the 30-pound brained individuals. I believe that what happened was a dry run.
Yes.
It was a rehearsal for something that even worse is going to happen. Because guess what? Gain of function, you're just making biological weapons. Straight up. You're trying to gamble against Mother Nature, that Mother Nature may create this in the future, so perhaps we should have processes and medications in place to fight this, just in case there's 1 in a bazillion chance it might happen. And then they get under the microscope, they use the CRISPR machine, and they make said bug, and here we go. It's all nuts now. We have a whole other dozens of strains of the common cold. Because I've had the Coof 3 times. 3 times. Every time was the sniffles. I never lost any sense of smell or taste. The second time, I actually had a fever for about 2 or 3 days. Aches. It was like a mild flu kind of thing. And that's the way it is.
Wifey and I had it when it first came out. Achy muscles.
Yeah.
Typical flu stuff. We beat it back with chicken soup. Literally, I made homemade scratch chicken soup from chicken bones and all of that stuff and fresh herbs and beat it almost immediately. We had it like 2-3 days. So one of the biggest things that happened during all of this nonsense is the taking away of our medical autonomy. There were tyrannical mandates for masks, lockdowns, and coerced injections. The Biden administration went against the Constitution, laws, accepted moral codes, and proper public health policy. In some states like Michigan and California, and a couple of others, they got particularly weird about it. Whitmer was a tyrannical whore. I'm not even going to mince words. I'd say that to your face too, you butt-seeking cow. Anyway, when all of this happened, because my brain works this way, and I was looking at all of this data, I went back and looked up an old Star Trek episode from 1968 or 1969, and it's called A Taste of Armageddon.
I remember that one.
Right? What it is these two planets have been at war for millennia, and they have decided to civilize war. So they have computers that decide the battles and decide the casualties. And if you happen to be a casualty, well, you just report to your local public disintegrator, citizen, so that we can remove you from the playing field because you've been killed. We're terribly sorry. And that's what this whole episode is. And I'm looking at this, and it's exactly that episode. It's A Taste of Armageddon, the old Star Trek episode. These many people have died. Please report to your nearest public disintegrator. It's that creepy.
Yeah. I was definitely getting that creepy vibe when they were trying to push the vax on me. And it was right around this time when I actually pretty much stopped talking to the liberal side that the friends I used to hang out with.
You and I had a lot of the same friends, and we stopped talking to all of them because they just became loony.
They're like, you didn't get the jab? I'm like, no.
They're like posting it on their Facebook.
Yeah.
I got the jab.
Yeah.
I got my booster.
Yeah.
But what were they talking about in late 2019 when this first started happening? Were those same people saying, "Oh, I'm never going to take a Trump vaccine or anything like that"? Like we've seen countless times.
I hadn't been paying attention.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that depth either.
Yeah, there's been countless people on Twitter, social media. Well, I'm not going to take a Trump vaccine. Fast forward a year and a half later, I'm boosted. I've got all the jabs. If you're not doing this, you're killing grandmas. Yeah.
What kills me is they're all in these photos bragging about taking all these, and they all have the Joker's death's head rictus grin.
Yep.
Either that or their eyes are as big as dinner plates. And
it's terrifying. The Nuremberg Code says individuals must be free to participate or not participate in medical experimentation. Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, colloquially called the jab, are experimental gene therapy technology never before used as a vaccine. They're by definition experimental, which means you, my friend, are a damn guinea pig.
Yes.
Yep. And I actually want to point this out. Big Mike's Raging Rectum Wrecking Purple-Headed Prostate Puncher over on Odyssey. He actually dropped us an email about the Nuremberg Code. So
fairly familiar with them. We have to go through Law of Land Warfare and a whole bunch of other classes. And we go through those we could do a class on all of that one day to explain it, actually. Not in the near future. We've got a stack of shows.
Yeah, we got a bunch of shit
already set up. But one day we will do a class on what all of that shit actually means.
Yep. I will be sure to add the Nuremberg Code to the sources for tonight's show on the website there, so everyone else can take a look for themselves.
Yeah. When three eminent clinicians produced an accurate science-based approach to the Coof that was counter to the Biden-Fauci anti-science tyrannical narrative, the Washington establishment went nuclear. NIH Director Francis Collins wrote to NIAID Director Fauci the following. This proposal from three fringe epidemiologists who met with the secretary seemed to be getting a lot of attention, and even a co-signature from Nobel Prize winner Mike Levitt of Stanford. There needs to be quick and devastating published takedown of its premises. I don't see anything like that online yet. Is it underway? So this was the Great Barrington Declaration that they're talking about, and these fringe epidemiologists were faculty from Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford. I remember this Great Barrington Declaration. It was chief key doctors saying, this is insane. You can't do this to the public.
Correct.
And Fauci's Stasi immediately came out. This was straight up like 1917 Czech Bolshevism. The way they stomped on anybody who questioned them at all.
And listen, man, we need to make sure that this information doesn't die out. It's not gaslit into oblivion.
Why we're doing
That's why we're doing what we're doing here.
That's why we're doing it tonight.
Because in my opinion, a lot of people were sent to the lobby unnecessarily.
Yeah.
We wasted billions of dollars.
Yes.
We wrecked our economy. Part of the inflation that we're suffering with now is because we shut down the economy for roughly 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our money was stolen out of the country.
Yes.
And went to key people in certain areas, like maybe Davos, Switzerland. I'm not sure what's in Davos, but I hear there's stuff there.
Yes.
There's stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Yeah.
Stuff and things there. I did a short video on cancel culture's roots and where it comes from on my channel, 26 Actual here on Rumble.
You know what? We can do a show
yesterday.
on that too. I'm going to write that down.
On what?
Cancel culture.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a quick short on the origins of that.
Now, here's a side note about cancel culture.
Mhm.
The left wielded cancel culture like a huge club.
Yes.
2018, 19, 20, 22, part of 23. But now the right has picked up on it. And we are perfecting it. And we're not just canceling one person here or there. We're destroying whole industries by walking away and not giving them our money.
Oh, yeah. Ask Budweiser how that worked out for them.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shame to see what Harley Davidson, see if they can pull their head out of their ass.
Oh, Harley took
or John Deere. Oh yeah. Harley.
good.
Harley took a head dive into the let's just say the Rainbow Pool.
Yeah. Tractor Supply.
Oh, yeah. Tractor Supply.
Tractor
They shut that down
Supply.
right away, though.
They did shut it down. Now they're called Retractor Supply.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The vaccine adverse events reporting system, the VAERS system, is supposed to track harmful complications after vaccination. They shut down all of that. When Jessica Rose, PhD, found that VAERS was undercounting and Washington was underreporting adverse fatal complications from the mRNA vaccination, she assumed others would be interested. She submitted her findings as a research paper to an academic medical journal. The publisher, not peer reviewers, declined to publish her work with no explanation. Censorship keeps clinical physicians in the dark. I could go on and on and on.
We're not here to read the entire thing.
So
no, go back to that last one and read the part about the ivermectin right there. The physicists started to use ivermectin.
Physicians started to use ivermectin. Washington feared this would detract from people's willingness to comply with the vaccine mandate, which is your friendly neighborhood disintegration chamber, citizen.
Correct. You should have a choice of what medication you want to apply to your meat suit.
If any.
Yeah, if any.
If any.
Correct.
Absolutely. A campaign was launched to suppress drugs like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and monoclonal antibodies as treatments. One of the big ones was every talking head in the media. Ha, ha, ha. Ivermectin is horse paste. Ha, ha. You feed that to your horses. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, I
Remember
used
that?
it. I still use it from time to time.
Yeah, but you use horse shampoo.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's fine.
It works. I don't care. It's cheap and it works. So
I mean, horses, the $100,000 horses out there, they're not going to use garbage on their
that's
horses.
right.
So it's probably better than the shit Naomi Campbell uses.
Yeah, I mean, I take the thoroughbred horse juice for my joints.
Yeah,
that stuff works.
Sure,
it does.
Yeah,
hey,
they care about horses, so that medicine for those horses is going to work.
Yeah,
if Dawn dish soap is good enough for the oil-soaked ducklings, it's good enough for me.
That's correct.
Probably not the same thing.
But what I'm trying to say here is then they came up with a pill that was technically not ivermectin, but it still had the same mechanism of action.
One chemical marker. And patented it. Pfizer did that.
Yeah. And here's the thing about ivermectin. Yeah. All it really did as a side effect was pull zinc into the cell, and zinc basically gunned up the reproduction works for the virus. That's all it did. But it was very effective.
Yeah, that's all you need is effective.
Yeah, and they came up with a pill that did the exact same mechanism, and then they patented it. I mean, get the hell out of here.
By changing one marker on it.
Yeah, get the hell out of
here. That's fucking hysterical. That is absolutely comical. But it just shows you how controlled an event this was and how manipulated the population was and how badly gaslit everybody ended up being. So we're talking about all of these vaccines, and this one's fairly recent.
Yeah, this is from March of 2024.
Top expert COVID vaccine trials were rigged.
No! No way.
A leading expert has spoken out to warn the public about COVID mRNA shots after discovering that the medical trials for the vaccines were rigged to make the injections appear safe and effective.
All right, now hang on.
Yeah.
If they can prove that in court, then all of this blanket immunity is going to go right out the window.
It has to. Fraud vitiates everything.
Yes.
That is an actual legal clause that has been used many, many times.
It's a precedent.
It's not just a precedent, it's a statement of I forget. It belongs to common law.
Yes.
And it is basically a hard and fast rule.
Yep.
If you enter into a contract knowing perfectly well that you have lied, that contract is immediately null and void.
Yes. So there you go.
You might want to read the Constitution in the light of that statement, by the way.
The bombshell was revealed by Raphael Lataster, PhD, a renowned researcher and former pharmacist affiliated with the University of Sydney, Australia. Speaking of which, the head of Pfizer, I forget his name, lumpy little fellow, running this multi-billion-dollar pharmacy industry. You know what he was? He was a vet.
Oh, really?
From Thessaloniki, Greece.
Huh.
He's a veterinarian. Lataster summarized 4 studies suggesting that the promise of safe and effective immunizations was exaggerated in clinical trials and observational studies. He outlined his arguments on Substack. It's a great place to find stuff. All sorts of stuff comes out on there and makes people panic. It's great. Basing his conclusions on 4 papers. A March 2023 paper by Peter Doshi describing the case counting window bias and its possible effects. Make sure this link goes into the chat, please, Jimmy, because those papers are there for people to read if they want to. Lataster's 2023 response to Doshi's paper, including the same type of bias affected safety reporting. 2023 response by Doshi explaining how the case counting window biases were used to game the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine clinical trials. And Lataster's own January 2024 paper, which discussed the rampant biases in the trials in light of the more recent data on myocarditis, a now recognized side effect of the shots. Yes, people's hearts just failing at random, because that's normal. That is myocarditis, and they were blaming it on everything. Youngsters not getting it.
They blamed it on marijuana.
They blamed it on white men exercising too much.
Get the hell out of here.
There was literally an article in the Daily Mail. White men exercising too much caused them to have myocarditis.
But this is a symptom of all of our media being owned by 6 corporations who are doing nothing but lying to us.
Yes.
And this time it costs people their fucking lives.
Yes, we should want people at the end of ropes after a trial.
Yes. There we go.
And a conviction.
Well, we're not
after
we're
a
not,
trial and a conviction.
A trial and conviction. Let's just keep it like that. There's no mob justice. It's all good. I got it.
Face the wall, please. 3 types of bias may have contributed to the vaccine's initial stellar reviews: background infection rate bias, age bias, and case counting window bias. Okay, I am not a medical clinician or anything like that, so I'm going to have to rely on the article to explain what these things are. Background infection rate bias arises when study groups have inherently different exposure levels. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. If you get a bunch of groups and they're all exposed at different rates to different things,
you're going to get different variables.
Skewed results. That's okay. That's pretty standard. An extreme example of this would be a study of infections that compare people who were strictly isolated in their homes early on in the pandemic to doctors who saw multiple patients per day during the same period. Okay.
And you want to know some countries that really didn't see a bunch of COVID deaths? They're mainly in Africa. They didn't participate. They're like, nah, you can keep your shit. We're good.
They didn't see any that I know of.
No.
Well, that and, ivermectin is used to treat malaria. And what diseases are pretty rampant in those areas?
Yes. Malaria is we had to take malaria pills.
Yeah.
Did you have to take them when you went to Africa?
I love the nightmares.
Yeah.
They were great.
What was that shit?
What's it? Chloroquine. And then they put me on an antibiotic because I was having a lot of bad effects from it.
We were gearing up. We were in Italy at 173rd's little airstrip there. And I can never remember if that's Sigonella, or I think Sigonella is the naval base. I can't remember the name of the place.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. We're gearing up. And as we're packing all of our shit, the medics come through, here, take these. And we're like, We didn't think anything of it. It's
Yep.
a handful of pills. Here, take these.
Yep.
Antibiotics and anti-malaria shit.
Yep.
Based on how most studies calculate vaccine effectiveness, Lataster estimates that even a dummy shot can be made to appear 67% effective. In this study, Doshi also mentions the age-related biases and difficulties in eliminating those. Age is perhaps the most influential risk factor in medicine, affecting nearly every health outcome. We know this to be true.
Yeah. Listen.
Infants and old people are always the most vulnerable. And then you've got all of the factors in between.
Yep.
With your average 20-year-old being basically the healthy baseline.
Yeah. The mule.
Yeah.
Yeah. The healthy mule. You just can't kill. 20 to 30.
I miss those days.
So do I.
I miss those days a lot. Okay. The task is easier in theory than in practice. In early 2021, when vaccine uptake was robust but limited to the elderly, vaccinated people as a group were much older than the unvaccinated. At that time, they were experiencing just half of the younger generation's infection rate. I think that's wrong. Due to this imbalance, the vaccines appeared more effective at spreading the infection than they were. Again, on this basis alone, Doshi calculated the presumed effectiveness of a dummy shot at 51%.
All right. So hang on here. So basically, this whole article here is just telling you how they deceived and lied to everyone.
They just manipulated statistics.
They're manipulating the numbers around to get their, test serum into as many arms as they possibly could. All right. Now, I've been hearing rumblings of sterilization. I've been hearing rumblings of neurological issues.
Yes.
I've been
Palsy, seizures.
I've had rumblings, about all of like Parkinson's, dementia, all kinds of crazy stuff. I myself, I think I'm suffering from a long COVID kind of thing that I've been wrestling with for about 2 years now.
Okay, so this guy spent 33 years in the military, was in 3 different wars, God knows how many places, exposed to who knows the fuck what.
I know.
And he thinks he got the Coof in 2020.
2022.
Okay, I'm going to explain this to you the hard way. You've been exposed to literally everything there is out there. Okay? You're lucky you haven't had a limb just rot off at random.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, how many places in the world have you been? I'm thinking the list is shorter of places.
All over North. I've been all over North and South America, Northern Africa, Europe, and that's about it.
You never really did Asia.
No, I never went to Asia, so I kind of bummed out I didn't go there. I heard some really good stories from back in the day, but I'm good now. I'm retired.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't need that.
I am here to tell you that those stories, while funny, aren't necessary adventures.
No, they are not.
They are not necessary adventures.
That's young dumbassery. I'm old.
Yes.
I have retired my dumbassery for the time being.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're probably not going to play Find the Midget.
No. Oh my God.
That and we all know Pop prefers the full German to the Mama San. So
You're not wrong.
Find the Midget was a real thing, Jimmy.
Yes,
I'll tell you sometime later.
I think you did tell me that story.
It's a terrifying.
All right, what's the next one here?
The New York Times is admitting to the extensive long-term damage of the pandemic lockdowns on school children and their learning. This is from March 2024, just a couple of months back. Now, we knew all of this was happening. Children were committing suicide. This was we're off of the vaccine itself. We're off of the disease itself. Now we're talking about the effect of the damn lockdowns that were insanity.
Yes.
Children as young as 12, 13 years old were committing suicide because they were so depressed because they're at that age where they're just starting to, life is, hey, neat new toy.
Uh-huh.
And turn
Gone.
it off.
Yeah.
Can't even go see their friends.
Yep. And listen, isolation is a form of torture.
Yes. It's used in prisons to punish.
Yes.
Yep.
So we indirectly punished a whole generation of young people out there needlessly, in my opinion.
Yes. And took away from many of them life experiences that in our culture are very important. That first driver's license.
Yes.
That first school dance. The high school graduation. These are in our culture. These are important cultural events that every kid looks forward to.
Yep.
They
So
completely
psychologically, the scarring is tremendous.
They completely shut down kids' parks. They wrapped
Yes.
caution tape all around the equipment. And if you even thought about stepping onto that, someone somewhere was going to call the police on you. And the police may or may not have used force to remove you from taking your kid to the park.
There
to
were
go
several
play.
instances of that.
Yes, there was.
There were several instances.
I still love the guy on the beach who outran the cops.
That was fantastic. The cop's like, so 4 years after politicians shut down schools, let me say that to you again. 4 years after politicians shut down schools, not doctors, not medical professionals, not anybody who knew what they were talking about. 4 years after politicians shut down schools, the New York Times published a new analysis on Monday admitting that there is a broad acknowledgement among many public health and education experts that the school closures significantly harmed children despite not stopping the spread of the Coof.
Yeah.
There should be lawsuits across the nation directed at these politicians for what they've done to our children. The psychological scarring is off the chain. I've seen some of the results. My own kid lost a friend because they were so bored that they went to a hotel in Pontiac, scored some freaking smack, and shot up.
Yeah.
And a 17-year-old little girl that had been in my home and eaten dinner at my table is gone because of this. Relying on the most recent data about pandemic learning loss, the Times drew several conclusions about why school closures were bad policy. First, the Times found that students were kept out of school longer, relegated to remote or hybrid learning, fell behind further academically than students who returned to the classroom earlier. These academic losses have been near impossible to overcome. You've rewired these children's brains psychologically.
Correct.
They're in that learning rate when they're young.
Well, they're sponges.
Yes.
Like literally, you could just walk. When you're a kid, you walk in the room, you learn everything.
Yes. And that's why I'm calling this psychological scarring.
Yeah.
Scar tissue can't pick anything up.
Well, here's the thing: is you have a very limited window when you're young to learn like that.
Yes.
All right. So this went on for like 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
That's
roughly.
huge. From 10 years old to 18, that's only 8 years. You really took like 25-30% of that time away from those young people's minds to develop properly.
Yes.
That's what he's trying to say here.
Tremendous amount of damage.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a tremendous amount.
and it's going to be very hard to undo that if you can at all.
Second, the so-called newspaper of record, the New York Times, found that students in lower socioeconomic backgrounds experienced steeper learning losses than students from more affluent backgrounds. 2 points here. First of all, the lower socioeconomic backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We know they're talking about the inner city.
Single mothers.
Mostly single mothers. Those schools are already just expensive daycare facilities.
Correct.
Second point, the students from more affluent backgrounds, I happen to know for a fact that a lot of those kids were still going to school anyway because their parents had the money to make that stuff happen.
Yeah.
At the Sonoma Valley or Wilshire, Hollywood, Malibu, all of those places, they were quietly still doing whatever they wanted to do.
Well, here's another
There
thing.
were videos of it all over the internet.
Well, another one the affluent places were doing was they would take like 10 or 15 kids, bring them together, get a tutor or a teacher come in to teach those kids.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be honest, I need to actually go to a brick and mortar place and sit at a desk to learn shit, or I need to have my hands on stuff. I can't sit in front of a screen, have somebody talk to me, and then be able to regurgitate. That's not me, man. My dyslexicist, it's just getting in the way.
I'm a hybrid learner. I require the same stuff you need, but I can still get some stuff from a screen.
Yeah, I can't do it.
It's a hybrid thing with
Smurf my balls.
for the hands-on.
It's not happening.
Smurf your own balls.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
So one of the other things that happened was a lot of the teachers liked these lockdowns because they were still getting paid.
And they
to
got to
teach
stay
the
home.
kids and they sat at home, and some of them were caught masturbating on camera.
Yeah.
Some of them were sitting around in their pajamas. A couple of them were caught like blatantly drinking. The teachers basically are scum. Most of our academic institutions need to be completely hosed out.
Yeah, you're right.
and gotten rid of.
There's a bunch of teachers out. That's a whole other show.
It is a whole other show.
We could rip into the education farce that's been going on for the past 20 years.
Write that down. That's one
Education
that
farce
should be thrown into the
mix.
The mix somewhere. This is notable because poor districts were also more likely to stay remote for longer. What did I just say?
Yep.
The Times reported, explaining that the country's largest poor school districts are located in Democrat-controlled cities that use heavy-handed approaches to the pandemic.
Shitholes.
Yes. Third, the Times found that short-term school closures did not exempt students from learning loss and other significant problems. Many schools are seeing more anxiety and behavioral outbursts among students. Gosh, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Chronic absenteeism from school has surged across demographic groups. We used to call this skipping school. I skipped school quite a bit, actually. I was a bad kid. These are signs, experts say, that even short-term closures and the pandemic more broadly had lasting effects on the culture of education. The kicker is that the politicians subjected students to these harms despite a clear lack of evidence proving that school closures slowed the spread of COVID-19. Again, I'm not going to read the entire article.
Again,
you've got the basic gist here.
What we're trying to say here is we have talking heads and individuals who are supposed to represent us, but they're trying to command us with these mandates that they put upon us.
Yes.
All right. Now, without any scientific evidence, no historical success models to pull from, they just literally pulled this entire thing right out of their asses.
Yes. They have admitted that since.
Yes.
I tried to find some of those articles, but
this is the part that really pisses me off. Now, it's been 4 years plus. They're saying, well, we didn't know, and we should just let bygones be. No, go fuck yourself. You need to get sued into the goddamn Stone Age. I hope you're never forgiven, and you live to the age of 102, stricken with bone cancer, you pieces of shit. All right. I feel
Good
better
point,
now.
Jimmy.
I feel
Good
better
point,
now. I was getting spun up at this.
I am nowhere near as tolerant as you are on this. I'd face the wall, please. So one of the things that's been coming out about the shots is some of these governments are starting to push back. Michael Yon has an excellent bunch of material on that. He's done some fantastic interviews.
Now, he's an old green beanie,
He's
though,
an
right?
old green beanie as well, and he's famous for his work as a photographer in Afghanistan. But he's been in Japan, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe his wife is Japanese.
Okay.
But he spends a lot of time over there. He's currently in Okinawa, and this here, Japan bans COVID shots over soaring sudden deaths. I know he was talking about that recently.
What is the date on this?
2024 article.
Okay.
Japan has just banned COVID mRNA shots for public use and called on other nations to follow suit following an official government study. And that's where I got Michael Young's. Yeah. He's the one who told me about this.
I need to get to study.
I know. Tied to the injections to the nation's soaring sudden deaths. Like many other countries around the world, Japan has been battling a crisis of skyrocketing sudden and unexpected deaths since 2021. The standard joke nowadays, of course, being died suddenly. What did he die of? Suddenly.
Sudden death syndrome.
Sudden death syndrome. The issue has become so dire in Japan that the country is now facing population collapse as more citizens are dying than are being born. Okay, that's another whole episode.
That's a whole other episode.
I don't even get me started.
We can call it lack of bumping uglies.
New studies in Japan have now linked the soaring deaths to the injections. However, the latest study has sent shockwaves through the global scientific community as it shows that the dangerous contaminants in the shots are only affecting those who have received the injections. Scientists have found that COVID mRNA vaccines have now contaminated Japan's blood transfusion stock due to the vaccinated people.
That's across all of the Western world.
Yeah,
there's so many people been vaccinated that the whole blood system is gone.
Now at risk. I can't give blood because I spent time in a part of Asia that is known for a bunch of stuff, and in order for me to give blood, I'd have to go through this huge panel of tests.
Well, if you need blood,
of like weeks,
I'm O negative. I'll give
universal
you
donor.
Yeah, I was called upon.
I can't give. I'm B positive.
Yeah, when I was in Iraq,
yeah,
I was O negative. And when shit was popping off, they would come say, hey, can you give us a pint of blood? I'm like, God damn it. Okay.
Give me some orange juice and cookies.
Give me an IV on this side. Take the blood on this one.
I remember the mandatory blood drive days where you could give blood or you could go on casual.
Yes.
And we'd all dutifully line up. Did that a bunch of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they give you the rest of the day off. They give you a pass.
Yep.
I'm like, hell yeah, I'm giving a pint of blood to go. I'll put it all back in the form of beer.
I get a license to go fuck off? Oh, yeah.
The risk associated with COVID shots are now being transferred to the other unvaccinated people through blood transfusions. Be aware of this if you or a loved one has to go to the hospital. This is true. The stuff in those shots is now in the blood supply. It's hard to tell. And I've heard that there are some blood banks that are returning away people who are vaccinated.
Yes. I've heard that as well.
Be good to find a couple of articles on that.
Now, here's the thing about the vaccine. If you get the vaccine and you don't get sick and you don't die, more than likely, if you don't get the boosters, once you get the vax, the clock starts.
Yes.
Usually, for most vaccines, after half a decade, it's usually either dormant or out of your system. So there's that supposed theory that, maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel for everyone out there who did get the vaccine. We will find out.
Mando's up to his shenanigans again.
What?
We'll get to that in the super chats, but Mando's
we'll
up
get
to
to
his
that.
shenanigans again. I see you, Mando. Over 1 million over 65s killed by the COVID shot, CDC data shows. April 2024.
Wow.
That's funny. The CDC was telling us that the shots were perfectly fine and safe and you should really go get jabbed.
Yeah.
Now CDC data is showing over 1 million over 65 killed by the COVID shots. Gosh, sounds to me like a case of mass murder.
Yes. Now, let's be honest here. When you get over the age of 50, there's a amino acid that builds up in your blood called homocysteine. And it's when it gets too high, it becomes very irritating.
Homosuspicion?
Yeah. Well, no. It actually is in your blood. It causes markers of inflammation as you get older. All right. Now you add spike protein on top of that. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to get the blood clots. You're going to get all of the crazy cardiac issues. You wanted to kill these individuals by giving them this shot. This is strictly my opinion.
Yeah.
But everyone out there with a college education has probably had between 1 and 3 classes of biology. And you should understand that, hey, when you're old, you're susceptible to death. When you're young, you're susceptible to death. It's common sense. And it really annoys the shit out of me that common sense is so uncommon. It's literally a superpower in the Marvel dictionary of superpowers. I have the comic books. I've read those things. Common sense should now be in there. It's so rare. That's just my opinion.
You want the scary version?
Yes.
One of the things that a lot of the really sadistic governors like Whitmer and a couple over on the East Coast whose names I don't remember anymore did was to put not only COVID positive people, but also violent people into nursing homes. The result was an astronomical number of dead elderly.
Yeah.
My scary version is that the Bolsheviks that are taking over our countries, the Western nations right now, very much want everybody our age, you and me, or older, dead, because we're the last ones who have the knowledge of what it was like before then. We're the last ones.
Yep.
That's my scary version, is they're deliberately trying to kill off anybody over the age of 50 because we're the last ones who have any recollection of what freedom looked like
in the 80s.
In the 80s,
yes.
Yeah. Of what freedom looked like, of what any kind of real liberty looked like, and of what any kind of personal choice looked like. We're the last ones that remember what all of that really looked like. I think they're trying to kill us off.
Yep.
Shocking data from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has revealed that over 1 million Americans over the age of 65 have now been killed by the COVID shots. The deaths were recorded since the FDA gave emergency use authorization for the vaccine to be rolled out to the public. The FDA granted emergency use authorization for the Pfizer BioNTech 19 vaccine on December 11th, 2020.
Now, here's a side note. All right. One of the big things about the whole COVID vax thing, and I talked to a lot of individuals who are fighting this battle within the service. One type of vaccine was actually approved, but there wasn't enough in stock, so they were using substitutions.
Yes.
And it is my belief
They piggybacked it on there.
a lot of these people died because they were given substitutions.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree with that statement. The deaths were recorded since the Food and Drug Administration gave the emergency use authorization. The FDA granted the authorization on December 11th, 2020, which means they rolled it out. They had it ready to go within 8 months.
Yeah, imagine that. Okay, we have gain of function taking place all over the world, and I would say it's happening in the lower 48 as well.
Yeah.
And then it somehow escapes into the wild, and magically we have a solution for that. Get the hell out of here.
Usually takes years to
Yes,
develop. any
7 years.
vaccine.
Maybe you could trim it down to 5.
Again, we'll do a show on pharma. We have an expert in our midst.
Yes.
Following the Moderna vaccine received EUA on December 18th, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine received EUA on February 27th, 2021. Wow, that's some serious fast tracking. I wonder how much money changed hands there.
Yes.
I'd love to see. We need to go to the FDA and CDC and find those individuals who were in charge at that time and see what their investments look like, because I'll bet you a bunch of them got some sizable stock chunks or suddenly found themselves winning the lottery.
Correct.
The elderly were offered the vaccine first, and the number of sudden deaths recorded in the age group was astounding. During the first 20 weeks of 2021, 150,085 excess deaths were recorded among people over the age of 65.
First of all, this 5-year moving average of excess deaths is affecting the entire Western world.
Yes.
There are some countries out there that are now 20% over the 5-year moving average of excess deaths. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe they took this PokeNSmoke and they're just pushing a bunch of people off the cliff into oblivion. That's just my opinion. But that's what it looks like when you look at these charts here. All right, I'm sorry.
Watch this. Excess deaths among people age 65 and over in the USA following FDA approval. Look at the spike. This is mass murder.
That's exactly what that is.
There is no way that this is anything other than deliberate murder. This is too precise.
All right.
This
So
is not an event. This is
when did
not
the
an
actual
event.
vaccine roll out? Was that 21 or 2020?
December of 2020. And then the last one was approved in February of 2020.
Okay.
That's a span of less than 90 days.
Yep. And then you got the boosters. They were tested on 8 mice.
Yes. The boosters were tested on 8 mice. Total excess deaths for the year in 2021 of people over 65 was 448,740.
Yep.
I'm silent right now because I'm trying not to say things that will invite federal agents to our door for little conversations that I'm not interested in having.
Correct.
This means nearly 500,000 more people died than expected who were age 65 and over during a period where excess deaths were supposed to be reduced dramatically because an apparently safe and effective vaccine was being administered to stop a wave of deaths supposedly caused by a deadly pandemic. The year 2022 improved slightly, but still saw a shocking amount of excess deaths, with 371, 466 recorded among those over age 65.
You want to talk about throwing a flying crossbody cockblock of death They just literally did this to the entire country and Western world.
These are our elderly. These are our remote
And they're
folks.
getting away with it.
So there's this thing called scaphism, and it dates back 2,500 years. And apparently there was a Persian emperor who preferred this, where he would take an individual who committed a particularly egregious act and secure him between two logs, hollowed out logs.
Okay.
Think of it as like a canoe, and you put the person in and you put another canoe over the top of it to secure him, right? And then he would take them out to a swamp where he would feed them honey and milk, which would cause them to shit themselves in a swamp, which means they're now being eaten by bugs while shitting themselves.
Yes.
And they would last for days. This was called scaphism. It was a particular form of torture that this Persian emperor enjoyed. Every single one of you who participated in this murder of our elderly,
you deserve that.
I would give you the boats. I would feed you that milk and honey myself. And I'm not even kidding. I would give you the boats if I could.
I mean, listen, this is how angry everyone is. Darren's mother died in one of these homes because of the Coof.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
One of our friends lost her father that she loved dearly.
Yeah.
Because of the hospital procedure, the ventilators.
Well, once
they were over oxygenated.
Well, once they stick you on that ventilator,
you were gone.
You're done. Because they literally will burst your lungs like a balloon.
Yep. I did hear a little chatter during the whole ventilator things that one shift would come on and get the ventilator set where they needed to be to help people breathe. And then the next shift would come in and then just crank them all the way up.
Yep.
And wasn't there also some rumblings about, the hospitals getting payouts for certain
They're not
events?
rumblings. They're getting paid $40,000 a head.
Yep.
It's not rumblings. That's been verified.
Yeah. If it said death by COVID, they got paid.
Yeah, by the government.
By the government.
Yep. Doesn't matter if you slammed headfirst at 180 miles into a bridge on your motorcycle or ventilated your thinking meat.
Yep.
It was a COVID death.
Coof.
Still died from COVID.
Before our clock ticks out, I'm going to get to this one. We literally had something like 30 or 40 jobs available.
32 sources.
Was it 32?
Yeah, and then I found this page, and pretty much all of them are already on here.
We're going to show you this one here. It's a site called vaccinedeaths.com, and you can go through and browse through this yourself and see just how much is out there on this. Let's go over here and grab this one right away from June 14th of this year.
Here we
Depopulation underway. Fertility rate among American women drops to an all-time low.
Yep.
The movie Children of Men.
Yeah.
What a coincidence that movie came out.
Now, when you go through the article, does it say that they're, sterilized, or does it say they're just not getting the dick?
Let's find out, because we didn't have the opportunity to go through all of these.
There's too many. You can't cover them all.
There's too many. In May, the Center for Disease Control revealed that the birth rate in the United States plummeted to 1.62 births per woman in 2023. To sustain the population, you need 2.4 births per woman. Far below the replacement level of its 2.4, not 2.1 births per woman of childbearing age. This 1.62 births per woman in 2023 represents the lowest recorded birth rate since the government began tracking fertility data in the 1930s.
It's actually, they were tracking this after the Civil War. It's the lowest since the Civil War.
Let's see here. Jennifer Kalfas and Anthony DeBarros of the Wall Street Journal attribute the declining fertility rate to several socioeconomic factors. Bullshit.
Now, hang on. Let's just be honest. There is the red pill MGTOW movement out there, and a lot of these guys are just not participating in the whole dating reproduction market because it's a farce. I'm trying to get to, are these women actually medically sterilized?
I'm looking for that.
Okay.
That. But the reason I said bullshit of the socioeconomic factors is because they could have summed it up with a more accurate phrase. The family courts.
Yes, correct.
So that was the bullshit flag that I threw.
All right, sorry. I'll give that back to you. Here you go.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. You've
in their
now been
article,
rearmed with your bullshit.
Kalfas and DeBarrios claim that women postpone their plans to have children or fully opt out of becoming parents due to career prioritization, improved access to birth control, and economic pressures such as housing costs, student loans, childcare expenses. This delay often results in women having fewer children due to declining fertility with age. What did they conspicuously not mention there? Men.
Men.
Why aren't men doing any of this stuff?
Because there's no reward for men.
There's no reward anymore.
Yeah, there's no reward for any man to go above and beyond other than to take care of himself.
No.
Now, listen, people are going to talk shit about me for saying this, but listen, the days of the selfless man have come to a fucking end. Now, I want every man out there to say these simple words. What's in it for me? If you can't answer that, there's a whole boat of offs you can go fuck. Right there. There's no upside to the men participating in the mating dating game here in the West. And it doesn't matter what country you go to. They're all indocked with feminism. And, you're going to lose your kids, watch them grow up and fast forward, turn into a financial slave. The list goes on and on. The show's not about that. Let's just get on with the Coof.
Get on with it. Yeah, I got incredibly lucky with the woman that I'm married to right now. I got incredibly lucky. She's wonderful, and she's an actual wife. So I go out of my way to be an actual husband for her.
Okay.
We have a good relationship, but you're not wrong. My first wife, I lost $140,000
And your pension.
and my pension and my security clearance.
Mm-hmm.
In family court. Do you know why? Because she wasn't happy. Never mind the fact she was screwing around and black marketing. Okay,
I can't do that in Korea.
Yeah.
The black marketing is huge. You get caught doing that, they will spank your pee-pee hard.
It is huge. But they can take everything from you just because they're not happy.
Correct.
Pop's already done shows on that. We're not going to do that show right now. Anyway, let's get back here. Leo Homan also wrote in his article for Blacklisted News about the potential impact of the Coof with vaccinations on fertility, given the similar downward trends as observed in other countries. Now, here we get to what you're talking about, because the trends with women in the United States and some of the European countries are not the same as they are in all other countries. A recent extensive study conducted by Robert Chandler backed this claim and revealed the correlation between the vaccines and the shocking drop in birth rates in Europe, Australia, and Asia. The study suggests that 9 months after the COVID-19 injections rolled out, the number of children being born substantially dropped in 13 out of 19 European countries: England, Wales, Australia, and Taiwan. In Switzerland, the decline in birth rate was the largest in 150 years.
Civil War.
The study noted that figures were more than during the two world wars, the Great Depression, and the advent of birth control. Also in Europe, Germany's birth rate plummeted 8.3%.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yes.
England and Wales, there was a 12% drop through June 2022. The government reportedly stopped publishing data related to this.
Because, it'll make it better if you ignore it.
Listen to this. In Australia, the number of children being born fell 21% from October to November of 2021.
Wow.
Which was followed by a 63% decrease from November to December of the same year. 63%. And one of the things that's been covered up and pushed away, and I saw articles from it in the beginning when all this started, is the number of miscarriages as well.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that's been
babies just not
skyrocketing.
taking to the womb has hugely skyrocketed. Conclusive evidence remains elusive. The birth rate dropped 63%. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? However, conclusive evidence remains elusive, and government or major philanthropic funding for such research remains limited. This, in turn, led to the conclusion of Homan that his lack of funding is part of a broader covert agenda aimed at global depopulation.
Oh, hang on.
It's not covert. We know they're doing this to us.
Here's the thing.
Fucking mad.
Yeah, I know. Women have, it's like a self-defense mechanism. If the woman's body is not up to snuff to carry a child to term, your body will instinctively just flush it in a miscarriage. I have a feeling that this goop they've been injecting to everyone is not making anyone healthy. It's making them more unhealthy at a very, I would say, DNA cellular level. Is causing a lot of miscarriages, I would say. I want to see a study on this,
super
though.
Chat, but I'm going to throw it in here because it's very relevant. Guy says in Canada, sudden infant death has spiked 30%.
Wow.
And the discovering that the majority come from jabbed mothers. 30%.
Yep. That's huge.
Is mass murder.
Yes.
This makes something like the Holocaust or the Holodomor look small.
So they're burning the candle at both ends. They're killing the old people, and they're keeping new people from showing up.
Yeah. One thing you can count on for certain, you won't find any government funding or Gates or Rockefeller funding of any such studies. They are all on board with the eugenics program to wipe out billions of people and get the global population down to 1 or 2 billion from the current 8 billion. Learn more about declining populations across the world at populationcollapse.com. Oh,
another one.
Website. I need to visit that one.
Here we go.
We're not going to do that
tonight.
This is.
But Jimmy, put those links into the chat so people can look at them for themselves.
Populationcollapse.com.
Roger that.
Holy cow. U.S. birth rate's lowest since 1979.
All right. Yeah.
The thing is, you need to understand here, and again, the whole thing, I read a lot of history. We're pushing into super chat time, but I'm going to be very brief here. A third of the population of Western Europe around Italy, France, and Spain, what as those countries right now, was wiped off the face of the earth by the bubonic plague during the reign of the Emperor Justinian. And then again in, I believe it was 1349 or so, it wiped out a quarter of the population. Populations can rebound. That does not justify this level of mass murder, though.
No.
We are at the super chat thing here. We could go on for days with this.
This is a 6-hour subject. We're covering it in less than 2.
Yeah. This is where we are today with the lockdowns and the medical murder that was medical murder. There we go.
Medical murder
that was perpetrated against the human race by a bunch of extremely sinister, extremely greedy individuals who, in my opinion, should all get the boats.
The boats.
And not the hose.
All right, Jimmy, let's hit these super chats.
Ready. But before we do that, I just want to make sure everybody knows, go to redonkulas.com, go over here to the top, click on videos.
Oh, yeah.
Click on the video of your choice, scroll down, and of course, all the sources right there for you. I even did, see, there's a lot one here, even right there at the very bottom, there's the Nuremberg Code link.
Good.
In case you're interested or anything. And well, of course, also if you're interested, click the swag tab.
Yeah.
Come on over, get yourself some merch, a new hat, new shirt, get you a Battle Dwarf for SecDef sticker.
Yeah. Jimmy's in the background making all of this shit run. Without Jimmy, this doesn't run.
Yeah. We need the evil monkey. Sorry.
Evil monkey.
Evil Shaggy.
Because I do not have Blake's 17th level wizard skills.
Like the first time I met him in Vegas, I literally walked up to him and he shook my hand. I go, "You look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo."
Yep. I remember that. I just got checked in. I was walking back and I was like, all right, well, and I called Blake. He's like, oh yeah, check in and Pop and whatnot. I'm gonna take a shower, take a nap. All right, I'm walking down. Here comes Pop walking right up the fucking casino aisle. Like, I point at him like, there he is.
Yeah.
How funny.
That was some good stuff.
Then you
let's start off with YouTube super chats.
YouTube. Alrighty, over here we got 562 viewers and 421 likes. 23 likes. Just jumped up.
Not bad. Right.
YouTube is not wanting to see a Nancy or Hillary tonight, so that's good. Let's see. We'll start off first one here. We got John Gwaltz here with $5 Canadian. Says I went full retard and wore a full painter's canister respirator.
Okay.
I mean, if that you feel you need to do that,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, during the whole first shenanigans and bullshit and whatnot, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I wore a mask, and then about 2 months into it, I'm like, this is starting to smell like bullshit. Fuck everything.
what you're saying is, this is gay. I'm not participating this way. There you go. Gotcha.
Exactly. Let's see, Ballistic Zero here with $2 says, had 3 in barracks die from SAD at drum in 22.
Yep. And you never heard about that on the news.
Yeah, we heard nothing about that. Wow.
Nope.
And in the 82nd Airborne, between 21 and 22, this is rumor. I've never seen this in writing, but somewhere between 60 and 80 troops were found dead in their bunks.
Yep.
This is just rumor. I saw nothing in writing, but it's not outside the scope of impossibility that they covered up the death numbers.
Shocker.
All
Let's
right.
see. Patriot of the West here with $3 Australian. I think he's got a question about some shotguns here for you, Pop.
All right.
Pretty sure. Says over with mags, 1 tube bullpup or 1 normal doable.
Okay, over and under is a hunting shotgun. If you want to actually get a decent shotgun, I would go with a 12 gauge pump action Mossberg or Maverick. Maverick has been pressure tested, hundreds of rounds been fired through that thing in a row. It's dirt cheap, it's reliable, and it does everything you'll ever need a shotgun to do. You can even buy longer barrels for it if you want to shoot skeet or something like that. That is just my opinion. The bullpup shotguns, I've fired them. They're okay.
I feel they're just fancy and unnecessary.
There's just too many moving parts. You got to worry about gas operation. Listen, everyone knows how to do a pump action shotgun. You know, you can hear that over a rock concert. Go with the pump action.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I would agree.
Let's see here. Chad Layton, he's got our first not worthy of the night. He's dropping a $50 bill. No comment, though.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you there, Mr. Layton. There we got a Mazatazel here with $10. Dwarf.
What?
This was a civilized version. The evil fucks in control today are far worse, and the world is going to descend into a living nightmare. All the while, people will accept it willingly.
I cannot disagree with you.
No. They'll accept it in the beginning. But when enough people die and enough people have suffered, historically speaking, you're going to have a huge problem.
When you voluntarily bend yourself over the barrel and spread your cheeks, there comes to the realization, this is a bad idea.
Yep.
Good times. Let's see. We got Lord Gigeth the Fourth, and that is his first super chat ever for $20. Thank you very much, good sir.
Thank you very much.
Let's see. Mazel Tazl here. He's got a few in a row here. First one for $2. He's asking Greek, Onassis, Jackie O, JFK. Asking for a friend.
Well, you're talking about people who got whacked. And Jackie O didn't get whacked. She died of old age.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what you're
JFK got
I
one.
was talking about the Pfizer director,
Yeah.
who is from Thessaloniki, Greece,
Yeah.
and is a veterinarian.
Well, JFK
like
got
Anthony
one hell of a haircut.
Yes.
Yes.
He did get a haircut.
Mazel Tazl's next one here for $2. Adult film. Pop does Asia.
Nah, I don't need that aggravation.
Find the dwarf, Pop. Find the dwarf.
That's a young man game.
Yeah, I'm
The
good.
game is called Find the Midget. Anyway,
There you go. Mazel Tazl's last one here for $10 here. It says, I've seen feminism and the damage done. A little part of it in everyone, but every feminist is like a setting sun.
Huh. Yeah.
Poetry.
Poetry. I like it.
All right.
It's a haiku.
We'll take it.
There
I'll
you
take
go. Sean St. George here with $4.99 says, remind me again how many kids died of the Coof. Remember I said died of, not died with.
It's probably a pretty low number.
I'm thinking it's in the teens.
I mean, the infants are one thing, but once you get about 8 years old, you get into that immortal stage where you can literally like get thrown out of vehicles at 90 miles an hour.
Your friend gets chicken pox. Your mom sends you over to play with it.
Yes.
So you can get chicken pox and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yep.
Let's see. We got Roberto Ramirez with $10 R. Not sure what that one is. But he's here. He says, when the schools were reopened, my son that would have been 8 at the time said to the teacher that he don't want to make new friends because he doesn't want to lose friends again.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Psychological scarring of the children.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's heartbreaking, man.
Yep.
One thing, and this is just my opinion, one thing that was actually kind of good of the school Zoom meetings, parents actually, well, of course, no one was they couldn't work, so they had to stay home and watch their kids. They started learning and understanding what was being pushed into the school, into the classrooms at that time.
Yes.
So we're starting to get the pushback that we have nowadays. That's about the only good thing I can think of, because we finally figured out the Department of Education is more of a Department of Indoctrination.
Yep. What's the next?
Sean St. George here, 499 says, Stanley Milgram proved that 70 to 80% of people will do the wrong thing even while knowing it's wrong.
Correct.
All because an authority told him to do so.
That is correct.
That is the electric shock experiment that was done in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's right.
That is the NYPD police officer standing in front of the bar saying, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, the Stanford experiment.
Don't even get me started on that because I'll go for hours. It's just another Patty here for $9.99. Says Hayden is a chode.
Hayden is a chode.
Hayden is a chode. Alex Patino here with $10 says in northern Mexico, there's a group of native people called Yaquis. Their favorite form of deleting their enemies was to tie them up on an anthill.
Yep.
The ants will crawl inside through the nose and mouth.
That was actually done by many Indian tribes.
There were a couple of different. We could do an entire episode just on that.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Yeah, the Comanche alone were horrible. The Huron had a couple of fun things too.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Moving on. Let's see. We got Nick Corcodilis. $2 euro. I probably butchered your last name there. I apologize, good sir. Says population reduction in Canada is always good news.
There's only 5,000 people there to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, the best they can do is kill you.
Yeah.
See, Sean St. George coming back says whole new meaning to saying Noah, get the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah, get the boat.
Get the boat.
Yeah.
We're about there, man.
We are about there.
Yeah. Let's see. Gerald Powell here with $1.99. He's got an unboxing gift going on there. So I'm guessing he's giving you a hint to go to the P.O. box, Pop.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to go there. I haven't been there in 6 weeks.
It's about time to do that, man. Let's see. Last one here on YouTube. We got Mad Neon with $5. Never forgive, never forget.
That's right.
Document everything until we can make the government serve the people again, and then
Payback.
Boats.
Yeah,
Boats
sorry,
for
you.
You're gonna get the boats, but there's not gonna be any hose on it.
Nope. Well, maybe when you get to the lobby, but
Yeah.
Well, that depends on which lobby you go to.
there's only one lobby, and then there's 2 doors on the other side, one to the good place, one to the bad place, and then I guess the chutes and ladders slide where you come back to your meat suit.
Yep. A lot of people going to the bad place. All right, we'll jump over here to Rumble. Got 883 viewers, 212 likes. I'm going to do a refresh.
That's a 1/4 return rate on a button that you smash.
Come on now.
Please just smash the button. I don't want to look at Nancy's ass.
Nice.
Well, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, Dwarf, but
Oh.
It's an ugly woman.
Why do that? Why?
Ugly.
Why you do this to me?
it's all right, man. I did see you were giving me the double full bird salute there.
I was indeed giving you the back.
Well, one was for me for clicking the button. The other is for the Rumble chat for not getting
That
the
is
fucking
correct.
like buttons
Forcing
up.
you to click the button.
All right, here. Let's see who's all over here on the Rumble chat here. Pixels G Tao, $5. He's giving us an 07 salute.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
McTow Mando here coming back. I started my Mandalorian armor project in direct response to the mask mandates. I used it to really duck with the mask Karens.
Nice. Well played, sir.
Well played.
Yep. Single for Life here with $2 says, we could not travel from one zone to the other in New Brunswick, Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad news, man.
That is North Korean style right there.
Yep. Let's see. Mando's coming back. Says, Jimmy, give the Battledore for Pelosi for the mask terms.
He just did. He just gave us a Pelosi.
Yeah, we're good.
Don't need to do another one.
No, we're good. Thank you.
He continues. He says, it's a gas mask only if it covers your the head and nose and mouth. It's a pro mask when it covers your head. Rant over.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mando would know. He's the
NBC guy.
He's an NBC.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think you sniff too much banana oil.
There. How about them apples?
You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna make sure that Crusader Nate and MGTOW Mando are on a Tuesday stream so we can do a Make Pop Puke, so we can get a double feature and make.
Come on! I don't want to see that shit.
We had the craziest chemical NBC NCO. I will go into that later, but we had a fucking maniac for an NBC NCO.
Let's see. Moving on here, we got Armed Ohio Heathen 92. He's dropping a $20 bill.
Thank you, sir.
Says, for me, it made sense to wear a mask at the beginning when I wasn't entirely sure what I was dealing with. After 2 months of working through the scamdemic, masks and social distancing just seems stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally not like Fauci just pulled the 6 feet apart thing out of his ass or anything.
He literally admitted that he did.
Yes.
That was sarcasm.
No, thank you.
I know.
Never mind.
Armed Ohio coming back again for $10 says, I will never regret not taking the jab. Strongly considering selling my unvaxxed blood and sperm as a side hustle.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Now, just be careful of the child support.
Yeah, there is that.
Make sure that they sign a waiver that they cannot come after you.
Doesn't count.
There's some guy who, by in vitro fertilization, fathered like 1,000 kids or something like that.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Apparently unvaxxed bazooka juice may or may not be going for $7,000 a load. So something to think about there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
But also think with the big head, not the little head.
You're deactivated anyway.
Protect your seed.
All right, moving on. We got Tomahawk here with $10. My job was offering a $100 bonus for getting the jab. Then they were talking about making it mandatory. Was ready to lose my employment. Fortunately, they didn't go through with it.
I would love to see all the lawsuits to sue the shit out of these companies that force this mandate bullshit.
I wish I could find a way to sue for the loss of my company, because my company was starting to do well. I had just picked up a $16,000 contract for one job.
Gone. Yeah.
Yep.
I was in Blarney Stone in Berkeley too.
Yeah, they're almost out of business too.
Yeah, I had the Blarney.
Yep. And you had what is it? The cities or the states giving free Dunkin' Donut for getting your jab. Nope. Yeah, that's exactly what you need is a deep fried piece of bread covered in glaze. They are delicious, but they're not good for you.
They are not good for
you. Rule Man Life here with $5 says, okay, so in 2022, I told my freight terminal manager here in Las Vegas at the time, if you required me to take this jab, I will quit immediately. Now, thank God the CEO at the time did not require it.
Yeah.
I had that same mindset because there was the whole government. If you have 100 employees and whatnot, it's mandatory. I was even telling my dad, I was like, if they tell me you're going to get rid of this job, I'm like, you're going to find yourself a new mechanic. Let's see here. All right. Hey, dear Sarge, he's dropping a $10 bill. Good to see you there, Sarge. It says, rolling out now. We'll be stalking like a Balkan, waiting for the Archduke to drive by.
All right.
Ooh. Okay, Ferdinand.
Nice.
It's dear Sarge right there.
Yeah.
Cliff 3188 here says two things. People are fucking cowards. Absolutely correct.
Yes, they are.
And something my brother pointed out to me, if this virus was as deadly as it has claimed, why didn't it eliminate the homeless across the country?
Yeah.
Just asking.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd figure they'd be some of the ones that would get decimated.
Yep, you would figure. Zarian here with $10. The Coof claimed my great grandmother, but my whole family is vaccinated, though it's only one shot, and I'm the only one who saw it and tried to warn them of the side effects.
Yep.
God.
That's a
And
tough.
also don't forget, while your loved ones were dying in the hospitals, they were doing their TikTok dances, and you couldn't go in there to comfort them.
And the governors who were causing all of this were going to birthday parties and
Yes.
exclusive restaurants
Oh,
like
yeah.
the French.
Gavin Newsom at the French Laundry.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. International House Whoop Ass. He's coming in here with $2. Says, "Good evening, gents. Remember, strap on spelled backwards is no parts, as you were."
Okay.
I beg your pardon? Carry on.
Well, just don't pick up a quarter in front of him. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Reynard 69 here coming in says, "Ivermectin also reduces organ inflammation and the thing that kills you with COVID, as your lungs and heart become inflamed."
Yeah.
Now, can we remember what drug it was that won the Nobel Prize in 2015?
I don't remember.
Ivermectin.
Was Ivermectin?
Was it ivermectin? I know it had been around for 60 years.
Yeah. It's a little late.
I probably got the year wrong on that, but yeah, Ivermectin did win or the creator of Ivermectin did get a Nobel Prize for that. Fun times. Fan I am, he's dropping $1 on us. What are we, a stripper? Oh, man.
Gotcha.
It says, this is going to backfire for them. When a real, actual, dangerous disease breaks out, no one's going to comply. It's a case of government and big pharma, cried Wolf.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do when something like that really happens anyway, though. Mother Nature wants to get rid of us. We're gone.
That's it.
Yep.
We're going to get
That's,
flicked.
that's all there is to it.
You're going to get flicked off the earth like a booger.
Yeah. If Yosemite or Yellowstone blow,
We're done.
Yep, that's
huge
that's who I'm voting for in 2024. The Meteor in Yellowstone. Come on, Meteor in Yellowstone.
and sweet meteor of death.
Yep. Pixels G Tau here. He's dropping a $20 bill on us. It said C19 was a test. We failed. So the next quote unquote event will be the real deal.
I have a lot of reason to believe you are correct.
Yep.
Yeah, they tried to scare us with the avian flu again, and well, that just resulted in more chicken farms shockingly burning to the ground.
Mysteriously,
Yeah.
yes.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So here's the Mando comment that you were talking about earlier there, Dwarf. Says explains why Battledorf is so happy. He's B positive.
That's borderline gay, man.
Can always count on Mando with
It's
the
borderline.
dad joke.
Move
Mando
along.
always comes in.
Move
Mando
along.
always comes in with the dad jokes and the puns. Speaking of Mando, he's back again. He says, "Who wants to bet that within minutes of this stream ending, YouTube will fact check and label it as medical/disinformation?"
They probably will. Even though
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that, but
well,
yeah.
we're just talking about articles that are actually on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And it happened for years.
Yes.
Yep. The YouTube stream is or YouTube side of the stream is still on, so I think we're all right. But yeah, they're probably going to give the
Yeah,
proverbial
we'll probably
penis
get our
slap.
PP spanked. That's fine.
Yep. Let's see. Fan I am. Let me make sure. Yep. Fan I am here. Says, is there a vaccine for the deadly epidemic of abortions?
Wish there was. Man.
No.
Wish there was.
Hashtag spiked hoteen.
I like that. Spike Hotain.
Huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, here. Let's see. I've got Alucard here. Alucard 1776. Good to see you. Good sir. $5. Battledorf. Put him in a pit with shipworms.
Ooh.
There are various things we could try. I am always down for science experiments. But I particularly like the boats because you linger for quite a while. I'll have to look into the shipworms and pits, though. I like this. Carry on.
Carry on.
All right. We got Barrett McMusing here with $5. Says, great show tonight, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Yep. Anonymous here dropping $2. Government announced that masks didn't protect against smoke during the forest fires in 2020 or 2022. Looked up smoke particles way bigger than the coronavirus.
Yes.
I knew it was all an obedience test. A bunch of bullshit.
Cheesecloth mask.
I will not
already knew.
comply.
Yep.
Now, if those that bought the blue masks and whatnot, it literally says on the recent boxes, this will not prevent the spread or contamination of COVID-19.
Yes.
Yep.
About the only time I found use for those blue masks, because I had one in my truck because work and shit. Let's just say I was on a road trip and, well, nature called and I was 20 miles from the nearest rest area.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
take your point.
We take your point.
Yeah. Fan I am here. He says their behavior determines whether they get the votes or the boats.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay.
I like that.
I like that.
Votes or boats. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, here.
Is it for Rumble?
Looks like got Anonymous here coming back in. Michael Yeadon, former Pfizer VP, just got interviewed and he's questioning viruses and transmission. Cited studies of Spanish flu where they couldn't spread it. No, not how hard they tried to infect people.
Bioweapons usually fail because once you get them out into the air and especially into sunlight, they degrade exceptionally quickly.
And you can never truly discount the immune system of the victims.
Yes. We had, Pop and I both had extensive classes on chemical and biological warfare.
Yep.
Because of what we did. We were most likely to be exposed to that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're going to die.
You're going to die, yeah.
Yeah.
You sarin or VX,
You're done.
that's your ass. Bye.
All right. LB Weaver here with $2 says, I saw a fucked up thing today. A homeless guy on a divvy bike hunting for cigarette butts. Take the money for the rental and buy some smokes, maybe?
Yeah.
Homeless guys are going to hunt for cigarette butts, man. That's just something they've always done.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
There's a Hank Williams song about it.
Yep. Hit the next one, Jimmy.
Next.
Let's see here. Anonymous, he dropped in a YouTube link. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass on that one there, good
We have
sir.
screen links.
Just to make sure. But he says, if you needed courage, channel your inner honey badger.
Oh, yeah. Honey badgers are bad little bastards.
Yes, they are.
Or don't fuck with the honey badger. Let's see. Brooke Pine, 284 here. He's dropping $5. He's voting for Cthulhu 2024.
Yes. Why vote for the lesser evil?
Yeah, just go to the primeval. Primeval. Just
That's
Go
right.
right for the primeval.
That's
right
right.
to the top. All right, that looks like that does it for the Rumble side. Let me jump back over here to YouTube. I did see a couple more jump in here.
Yeah. Couple
So
of
got SR with $3. He's good, throwing us a thumbs up there. Awesome. Benny D Williams. Maybe no. Okay. $20. A guy in Florida died in a motorcycle accident, labeled as a COVID death.
I remember that one.
Yep. Ivermectin was even endorsed by the WHO before the Coof due to 50 plus years of safe use and effectiveness.
That's correct.
Fauci emails admit he said masks wouldn't work.
There you go.
A lot of things didn't work. All right, we'll see here. Jumping over to MGTOW.tv here. MGTOW chat is MGTOWing. I assume that. Oh wow, that is a nice spread there, MGTOW Ronin. That is very impressive. I like that. Let's see. Jump over to the chats here, so I don't get distracted by the taps. All right, let's see here. Mungo Harry with G's dropping a $25 says, "Come on in, ladies, pops on." And it's a gif of an old Elvis movie, and there's a bunch of chicks going into the beach shack.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
You know, Spam Bot Fodder here with $5. If you need something worse than the F word, you need to learn all the swearing phrases in French.
French is pretty good for swearing, but I understand Ukrainian is better. Apparently, they have a robust cussing vocabulary.
Oh, yes.
That and I refuse to speak surrender monkey.
Pourquoi?
Bonjour, quiche, caviar.
Family-bouche.
All right.
Don't
Don't
Here we go again.
Don't argue with the linguist. Next one.
Crazy Uncle, he's got a couple $5 here in a row. He says, first one, gentlemen, I'm wondering if you heard of this. Before it got the name Washington, D.C., the name of the town was Rome. That should tell you a lot.
I did not know.
I did not know that.
Did not know that either. All right, and Crazy Uncle's second one here. If you don't think the government wouldn't lie to your face about shots, think of this. NASA was never about exploration. Instead, it was all about DoD. The original launches were just a way to develop and test ICBMs in plain sight. If anyone talks about the moon landing, ask them how they got through the Van Allen radiation belt. The government explains that as well as they can explain Building 7.
Oh, stop.
We'll see what happens. Listen, let's be honest. With the amount of lying the government is doing, anything is fucking possible.
You know what? I'll grant that. I will grant that.
I'm just saying.
I will grant that. Let's put a pin in it and move on, though.
All right, let's move on.
All right, transformational synergy here with $10. Great topic, guys. Even 3.5 years later, so many have no idea.
No idea.
Nope.
FIL, multiple cancers, neuropathy, loss of balance after 9 shots, but with old people who would correlate or care. Also, one high school senior dead in sleep, another 19-year-old grad dead of turbo cancer, and one of the teachers, 55-year-old, dead of turbo cancer just in 1 month.
Wow.
No one notices.
Jesus.
That's so fucked up.
Holy.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Mavericks 7508 here. This one I need to share. He's got some images here. They are safe. Actually, let me do a double check.
Yeah, we don't want to have another geriatric whisker biscuit picture. All right, come on now.
Okay, yep, we're good. We're good. Okay. We are all good.
Okay.
Making sure. All right, here. Let's see. Which one is it? This one.
Unfuck it.
That's the one I want. All right, Maverick here. This is Dr. Thomas Flanagan. I remember seeing this guy's face.
Yeah.
Says, I did it for the free orange juice. Pretty sure the needle was like a foot long. The good news is I didn't feel the microchip going in, but I can hear local radio stations now. Showing off his Coof punch cards that eventually ended up with him
dead,
punching out.
Yep.
And Maverick here again. I'm assuming this is another picture from the guy, double vaxxed, Janssen fueled, Moderna boosted, Hammercrown, hit me with your wet snot.
There you go.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
And then I believe this is the last tweet. Carlos's wife, Nora, it's with deepest sorrow that I have to share that Carlos has passed away last night as a heart attack. I've lost my best friend and our kids lost a truly great dad. I will be off social media for a while.
That's just fucking tragic, man. Listen, yep. I'm not going to take any pleasure in the death of a dumbass. All right. I don't want to see anyone die. I really don't. My heart goes out to his family. I just wish we had more people out there willing to take a stand and tell the truth. Because if they were doing that, a lot of these people would not be dead.
Yep.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah. As much as, I'm on the same level as you, Pop. I like to point and make fun of the dumbasses, but I don't ever wish.
You don't want
on
to see dumbasses die. I mean, I talk about this in my book. You can forgive stupid, you just never forgive intent.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, we'll jump over here to Odyssey here. How's the numbers looking over there? We got 32 watching and only 19 fires lit.
That's okay.
It's better than half. Okay, I'll give you that one.
All right.
Let's see here. Yep. Talked about Big Mike's raging rectum wrecking purple-headed prostate puncher about the Nuremberg Code. Link is on the sources on this video. So take a look at that, guys. Let's see. I got Mark D's channel here, $20. Says, thanks, Pop and friends, for the show. Never forget, never forgive.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm not a forgiving kind of guy.
No. Especially when you try to bend me over the barrel and take away my rights. Fuck off.
I have a problem with that.
Let's see. Maverick7508 here says the vaccine and the disease were pitched to DARPA, but DARPA turned it down due to severe risk to troops when they were given the vaccine. He's got a link here. I might have to save that one and
they were experimenting on the troops? I have no idea what that's like 7 anthrax vaccinations later.
Yeah.
Shocker. Yep. And Big Mike's coming back again. He says, hey, when are you going to do the one-eyed Wonder Worm video?
I don't know. I got to figure that out. God.
Figure it out, man.
We got a couple more on YouTube, and I think we have a couple more on Rumbal as well.
Rumbal?
All righty here. Let's see. Yep. Benny D here coming back over on YouTube with $5. Don't forget, all the dead people embalmers have been finding huge blood clots in them. All the soccer players in Europe dying of heart issues.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very
news bears. All righty here.
Sucks balls, man.
Yep. Let's see. Dungus Fun here over on Rumble here with $5 says, here you go, poop.
It's not like
poop.
I haven't heard that before.
Here you go, poop. I like Rumble more than I like YouTube.
Okay.
Don't know. But if you like Rumble, you would like MakeTow.tv a little better. Just saying. International House of Whoop Ass here. He's coming back. Says, I was an NBC guy too. Don't make us crush the pills and send them as a package. Remember, it's a real CBRNE, emphasis on the E.
Don't crush the pills, man.
Don't do that. C-burn.
C-burn. Sounds bad, right?
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's bad.
No, man.
Sounds bad. See, Doug is finally coming back. It says, hunting for cigarettes, Buzz. That's how you get HPV.
I think he means hunting for cigarette butts, but yeah, that is how you get HPV. In fact, I know this isn't a super chat, but I'm going to throw back at the 506 there. Kurahi, I see you.
There you go.
All right.
Let's see. Last one over here on Rumble. It looks like we got Tomahawk, $5. He's asking, do you think this will intimately raise the average IQ?
I don't know. Typically, the IQ will raise when the people with a high IQ survive and the dumb people die.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Darwin.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Selecting for survival.
Yes.
Yep. And I am a part of the crowd that says, let's just take the warning labels off and, well, whatever happens, happens.
I am a big fan of that. Dung is fun throws another $2 at it. Says, I never forgive and never forget, but I will play nice with my enemies. This is the one thing I will not do. I am done playing nice.
Yeah.
I am really done playing nice.
Yep. All right, we'll jump over here to the emails here in case take a look at some Cash Apps or any other stuff that you guys sent in us. See, and again, we do appreciate all donations. You guys are awesome, fucking awesome. Making sure everything running here smooth. We've got Kevin here. He's throwing $25 there. No comment.
All right. Thank you.
HKC here. He's throwing us $5. Says, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Vincent Van Gogh, fuck yourself. He's throwing $10. Says, see email for Coof bullshit. I will keep an eye out for that. Oh,
Coof bullshit. Let me look in there.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's.
Yep,
if it's long, we can't really go into it here.
Yep. I just started the email there for you, Pop. So
okay, I'll take a look at it.
Take a look at it there. All righty. John, he's throwing in $50. Says, sent email about near death from a vaccine of a friend. Damn.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Right, well, John gets one of these here.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I don't know. This. I mean, I'm getting spun up because of this, but I'm also like incredibly sad
Yeah.
because now we've got 4 years
Yeah.
of just pain and suffering under our belt. Was completely needless.
Yeah.
Actually,
This is
yeah.
activating the emotionless thing in me
Yeah.
that they don't want loose.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I just found his email. It's actually pretty short here. It says, I have a salesman acquaintance that was almost killed from blood clots from the vaccine. He got the vaccine in the afternoon, and then that night he had chest pains. He went to the emergency room and had fluid removed from around his heart. They sent him home the next morning. The morning, 2 days after taking the shot, he was having breathing issues and turning blue.
Yep.
He went back into the hospital where they performed a procedure that the local hospital had only done 7 times. They went through his arteries and removed a lot of blood clots. He said it looked like a pint mason jar full of bloodworms.
Yep.
The length of the clots was 2 to 7 inches long. He is now on medicine for the rest of his life to prevent his blood from clotting. He is
Wow.
permanently disabled from the vaccine.
Holy fucking
dude, that sucks balls, bro.
This is just freaking absolutely causing me the sadness and the rage all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is really aggravating me.
Yep.
All right.
Let's see. Looks like a last cash app here comes from Lynn. Throws in $10. Says, nothing clever to say. Johnson shot survivor.
Dude. First of all, that whole vaccine, in my opinion, was not necessary.
No.
Second, it was not tested properly. Third, they hid the truth from us. Fourth, they didn't give a shit about you. Number 5, it was a big money grift. And I would love to see everyone responsible for this to be held accountable wherever that road takes them after they've been duly convicted. Whatever punishment after that, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
The boats.
Yeah, I was more like extreme chiropractic, but that's
well. There we go. After
Okay,
all is said,
like I said, I am open to science experiments.
I got you. What were you saying, Jimmy?
I was gonna say after all is said and done, and everybody is convicted, we give them 3 choices: the boats, the wall, or the sudden drop, with a short drop and sudden stop.
Yes.
There you go. See, we had one last cash app coming here from Jeremy, $5. He's giving us some thanks. No, thank you there, good sir. Thank you to everybody here. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Betty D, he's got back over here on YouTube, throwing in another $5. Says women are now supposedly lying about getting the shot. Never forget they told us it would stop transmission and change the definition of vaccine.
Yep. And it did none of that. None of that has been accomplished.
Nope. Not good. Let's see.
Bullshit.
Dropping over back here. We've got Dungus Funds chat there. Never forgive, never forget. Playing nice with the enemies. No, thank you.
We got everything covered?
Yep, I believe so. Let me just double check over MGTOW.tv. I think we're all good. Odyssey is all good. I believe we are free and clear. Pop, we need a safety briefing.
All right, everybody, don't drink and drive, don't drink and swim, never works out. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you or flush it down the toilet, watch it go all the way down. Don't be a fool, wrap your tool, because the burning ring of fire is real. Rack up, pack up, and stack up. There's always safety in numbers, and maintain your situational awareness, because if somebody is going to attack you, your environment will have changed, and it's your responsibility to see it, detect it, and take proper action. All right.
Battledore, final words.
Final words is Dungus Fun threw another $2 at us while we were trying to check out. You should be nice to your enemies so you can lead them into a false sense of kindness and then destroy them when they're at their weakest. I suppose so.
I like that.
I suppose so.
Yeah, if you're not. Oh, I also forgot. We are streaming over on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you guys want to, if you guys got a Twitter account, there you go. Oh,
Terrence Pop.
Terrence Pap. Let me click on the fucking thing. Click on the right thing. There you go. Terrence Pop. there you go. Follow it. No, we got, I'm not sure how many followers, viewers we had on there.
About 600 and something. 615.
Oh, there you go. But alrighty, gentlemen, ladies that are watching, of course, final words have been said, and well, be glad that you're pure blood and didn't take the shots.
Yeah.
I can't
No.
do it, Jimmy.
Condolences to those that have suffered the consequences and whatnot, but all in all, hopefully things get ironed out, and the people that are responsible, well, karma's a bitch.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
I can't do it!